Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay at home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight. Got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet. Cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I
Hey,
do.
everybody, welcome back to the show. Glad you're here. It's going to be just another fun one. Just us, me and Danny, kicking back and talking about who knows what. So get ready for it. And also, too,
Brace yourself.
Yeah, brace yourself. Exactly. And if you listened to the last episode, don't forget that if you and your kid want to be a part of the kids interview summer series thing that we're going to put together, make sure to reach out to us so that we can get that lined up as soon as possible. So I just wanted to plug that before we get into everything else.
Yeah. If you need more information, ask Brock.
Yeah, exactly. Ask me. That sounds good. Oh man, I'll tell you what. The past couple of days have been interesting in
Yeah.
the Luge house. Yeah. uh, so we have friends. Actually, we talk about him all the time. David McMillan.
Mhm.
His family travels a lot, typically in an older vehicle of some kind, and I am going to be going on a rescue mission actually here in just a few hours after we get done recording. Something that I never thought I would ever do, but I'll tell you what, when it's your best friend and it's a ride or die type situation, you don't hesitate. You just go. Um, so I was telling you like I think on text message that it was I forget what it was. I think I was just saying like things are getting kind of interesting here at the house or something like that
Mhm.
maybe. So what happened is they went down to Texas for the solar eclipse, and the bad part about them going down there was that for the first time in 90 years, the weather changed and it was cloudy in the south and it was nice and clear in the north. So
Oh,
they didn't get to see the eclipse the way they wanted to see it. However, they did get to see it and actually it's got some really good pictures. But they drove down there in an 85 Suburban Starcraft top that he bought during COVID for a really good price. It's only got like 75,000 miles on it for an
wow.
85. Yeah, yeah, really low mileage. Good shape, but I don't think maybe it got through all its paces or whatever, but he felt comfortable enough taking it. But it blew a head gasket in El
Oh,
Paso about 10 days in.
oof.
So they were trying to figure out what to do. They have four kids.
Mhm.
So, a lot of scrambling. They were going to be out for like 6 weeks doing this trip. And so lots of camping reservations have
Oh,
been put in
man.
place,
Yeah.
lots of planning. And he called me up the other day and was telling me about it because he sent me pictures of him with like basically the engine just taken apart and just sitting on the side of the road. And this lovely gentleman from over in Mexico who I guess like comes into the country like for different things and stuff like kind of works both sides I guess, but he has like a car full of tools and he's like stops by and he's like, hey, like let me help you out. And so he tries to help and he actually runs and gets parts for him and stuff like that, put it all
Uh-huh.
back together, and it's still nothing's working. So
Ooh.
David at that point calls me and he's like, I got to come up with some other idea. He goes, this is a wild one. He goes, but could I rent your brand new car? And I'm like, what? And we got to talking. I'm like, it doesn't have a hitch on it. I was like, I would need to go get a hitch on. He's like, that's fine. He's like, I'll pay for the hitch getting installed on there. I was like, I know that's outside of your. He's like, I know that's outside of your timeline. I'm like, okay. So I woke up the next morning, and at like 9 a.m. when all of the dealerships opened for Toyota, I started calling around, and I got told that there are 800 hitches for these Toyota Highlanders on back order
Oh,
because
you're kidding.
no.
What?
Yeah, well it's a car that they can't make fast enough
Mhm.
And they even don't have like when you receive one, you get one key fob for it, and then you
Yeah.
get the insert piece because they can't afford right now to give two keys to the owners. So then you get put on a waiting list to wait on the keys. Um, and then I was told too, this was interesting, that the uh the kick bumper that you swipe your foot underneath so that it opens up, uh when you put the hitch on it, actually blocks that sensor from being able to be used, I
Oh.
guess, for the Toyota one. Now, we found one that had reviews online through another company that said that that doesn't cause, like, if you do this one, it doesn't cause that. Like, it was a company that or the website was like a camper trailer type of thing. So, like,
Hmm.
people that are putting them all the time. So anyway, fast forward, going through the day, I ended up actually finding the bumper from that company, the alternative company, on Amazon. I order it. It can't get here till the 24th, which is like a week.
Hmm.
And so I'm like, well, here, this is all set up. Local mechanic has agreed to put it on for me as soon as I get it. Everything's good. So kind of got that plan going. Then later in the day, I get a call, and he says, hey, I have uh, talked to my sister-in-law and brother-in-law, who they live here in town too.
Hmm.
And they have, I think it's an Explorer. So it's third row seating. So it'll, take everybody. And they've agreed to go put a hitch on theirs, which theirs isn't as new. So getting a hitch is easier and readily available. So currently, as we speak, that vehicle is about to go into a mechanic shop and get a hitch put on it. And as soon as it's done, I'm picking it up, loading it up with what I need, which is basically a backpack and some food. And I'm taking off on a journey to go meet them in Flagstaff, Arizona.
All righty.
Yeah. And I called Jeremy Haston last night and was like, hey, buddy, if I show up on your doorstep in the next 20 or 12 hours, maybe 12, 24 hours, you okay with that?
Yeah.
And I was like, honestly, all I really need is to be able to just park my car, and I'm just gonna nap in the car. And he was like, no, you're not. He's like,
Right. Yeah.
I got a couch. You come in, take a nap. I'll fix you a meal. He's like, if you're only wanting to stay for a few hours, he's like, that's not a problem. He's like, but he's like, you're not gonna sleep in your car.
Yeah. You got to meet his dog, man. Come on.
Yeah,
She's
but his
delightful.
well, it's funny too. He was like, "Well, I need to ask the wife first," and she's like, "Jeremy, like, the man is on a mission. Like, yes, we will give him space."
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so that's what's in the future. So it'll make some great content. So that'll be one to definitely keep an eye on Instagram for, because I'll definitely be posting some things along the way.
And are you flying back?
Yeah, so
Okay.
okay, so they rented a U-Haul quad cab truck so that they could continue on with their trip, because they're, doing some other different things. Um, Once I drop the Explorer off to them, I'm gonna take that truck, and this is the other part that gets interesting. I'm driving to El Paso, Texas, to take the truck back to U-Haul.
Hmm.
Um, and then from El Paso, I'll fly out. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I don't know exactly. I don't want to buy a plane ticket right at the moment because I don't know exactly what day. So I'm pretty much just going to walk in and see if I can get in on a standby flight
Yeah.
if possible. So yeah, it's going to be an adventure.
Good thing you're young.
Yeah, young
None of
enough.
this will make you sore and make
Oh,
difficulty. It'll be great.
now you're making me
Yeah.
hurt just thinking about that.
Right.
Man, thanks
Yeah.
a lot.
Jeremy's couch is very comfortable. Just saying. So
That's good.
you
Well, I
got
think
that
his
in.
I think his wife was going to be making up like the guest bed or something like that, whatever that is. So,
Hmm.
uh,
Oh, even better. Yeah.
yeah. So, but no, but it's one of those things where, we talk all the time about how this network is tightly knitted and connected together in multiple different ways. And when David was talking with his wife, Anna, about the whole thing, uh, she was he was like trying to figure out like how we do this or whatever. And she was just like, Brock is one of the most connected dads and guys I know in my life. Like I'm sure he'll figure it out along the way.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Well, and that's it. We have the network. We talk about the community of it a lot, which is great, but it's literally a bunch of just selfless men who are there just to help, to provide, right?
right? Yeah,
And while it's mainly for your family, I have yet to meet any of the dads in our network who aren't willing to give you
right.
know whatever you need. It's what if they have it to give, they'll give it. Yeah, it's fantastic. And it's even people that you don't know, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean there are times when I've never met this guy before, and yet we're there at the airport, because he flew in and brought all of the glasses
Oh,
for the
Daniel
pint
Wilkerson.
glasses for,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's like, what, and I'd heard his, I'd met him before actually, but it's that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well,
Guys
and
are like, yeah, I'll
I
go
called him
ahead.
too, by the way.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I was like, I'm in Texas. So I was like, maybe I don't have to fly commercial. But
that would have been cool.
that which would have been awesome. And I called him up and I said, "Hey man, this is probably the longest shot of something that I've really ever asked anybody." I go, "What would it cost? What would it look like for you to come fly to El Paso and fly me home to Cincinnati?" And he was like, "Round trip, it'd be $1,800 in fuel." I was like, "Oh!" And then he goes, "By the way," he's like, "there's a couple other strikes that go against this that aren't going to work." He's like, "It's breeding He's like, "I'm in breeding season currently with his animals."
Yeah,
And so
springtime.
he said that things are hot and heavy there. And then on top of that, he's got a couple of horses that are currently being seen by veterinarians, and things are not going as
Hmm.
well. I mean, they're getting looked at, they're getting taken care of, but they're having a hard time narrowing down exactly what's causing the issue that they're dealing with. So he's like, those three things right there kind of put me out. And I'm like, you're fine, dude. I was like I said, I did not expect you to even say yes to this, but I figured why not
Yeah,
entertain the idea.
might as well ask. Yeah, and I guarantee he would if he
Oh
could.
yeah, he would.
You
He
know,
definitely said that too.
and that's true of so many of our dads, so many of our members. It's just amazing.
Yeah. So that's what's going on. Actually, the other thing that I might end up trying to do, because from Flagstaff down to El Paso, I go through Snowflake, Arizona. So you trying
Don't
to
know where
figure
that
out
is.
you're trying to figure out who's in Snowflake?
I don't know anybody who lives in
The pigeon man lives in Snowflake,
is it
Arizona.
Snowflake? Is it called Snowflake?
Yeah, Snowflake, Arizona is where the pigeon
Fry?
man lives. Philip Fry. Yeah,
Philip Fry?
so that's it's like I'm getting out there. I was like, man, like it would be cool to just swing by for a little bit because it's only like an hour and a half south of Flagstaff, so it's
Oh yeah,
like,
you need to go. You
yeah,
need to
I
at least
can't not.
just right. Yeah, that's way way closer than you'll probably be for a long time. So
Exactly. Yeah. So I thought I was gonna make that a must do stop kind of place. So, but yeah, but other than that, I mean, I my plan really is to just you know drive a good amount of time, stop, take a nice quick nap, type of deal wherever it is, unless I can find somebody that lives there, lives in that area, which I'm gonna get into some pretty remote areas, and I don't know any if there's any dads in those remote areas, and then yeah, just continue trucking along. I'm hoping to hopefully fly back by Sunday if possible. So we'll see how
mhm.
it all plays out. But it should only take
Yeah.
like 2 days, like 2 days maybe to get out there because it's like 24 hours driving consistently, which I always find that interesting. Like, can Google Maps just not make it like we get it, Okay, yes, continually that's the case. There's no automated car that's gonna like just take you for that time period that even can hold the amount of fuel or charge to do that. It's like, why not break it up? Like the average person can drive 10 hours
Hmm.
maybe at a time. Like that's pretty much like all a truck driver gets. So break it
Yeah.
up that way. That way it's a little bit more realistic when you're trying to map out, a road trip.
And are you going to push 12 and 12? Is that what you're thinking?
No, I'm
Okay.
not. Like that's the thing. Like I'm gonna drive to Jeremy's, which is like five and a half, and then I'll take a, 3-4 hour nap and then get back on the road. I'm hoping to get to where I'm driving somewhat at night, like from Jeremy's house to the next stop. That way, like less traffic and just, because I did
Yeah.
see where there's like some construction stuff. So it's like, if I don't have to deal with daytime construction traffic, that would be awesome.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
it's gonna be a fun adventure, and I honestly would,
It,
I yeah,
it will be memorable for sure.
very, very, very for
You know,
sure. Yeah.
I've made the drive down to Georgia and from Georgia to Wisconsin multiple times since we moved. And it's really it's surprising what the human body is able to accomplish even in something like that, because like you said, 10 hours is tops, and really for me 9. I'm at
Yeah.
9. I'm like, yeah, I mean, if I have only 30-45 minutes, maybe an hour and a half to go, I'd finish up and just go ahead and drive the 10 and a half. But at 9, my body's like, dude, we're just been sitting here and we're eating road food, and you just need to pull over, man. You need to
Yeah,
find a place to sleep, right? But having the opportunity, especially to go see your buds, go see
exactly.
Jeremy and Jen, and they're fantastic people. Always very warm and welcoming. One of he's my favorite. It's true.
Well, and they were supposed to come here actually last year, and things didn't work out, or maybe it's 2 years ago, and things didn't work out due to
Hmm.
COVID and some other things like that. So it will be neat to actually get to meet Jen in person and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
So that'll be exciting.
she's great.
Yeah. But yeah, so just gonna do the cannonball run
Hmm.
to use that as a good movie to.
And putting your new car through its paces.
No, I'm not actually putting my new car through its paces because I'm taking the in-laws car out.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, I apologize. You said that, and
that's
yeah,
okay. That's
my
okay.
brain, because I'm still stuck on the road trip in your new car, because
Yeah,
I have to. That's going to be a blast. That would be like, yeah, because it's got to be very very comfortable.
I can't. Yeah, I'm looking forward. So the road trip in my car, I'm looking forward to. That's going to be in August when
Hmm.
we go to DC. So,
Yeah.
and I actually just got the
Wait,
hotel set up for that
you're driving?
to Washington DC.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thought you were flying. Well,
no, no.
my
So
bad.
that trip is we're driving. We're actually taking my sister-in-law and niece with us actually as well, and we're staying like 10 minutes from the National Mall for
Hmm.
like those for like 4 days. We got like a suite, so it's nice. We don't have to go out every day every time. We can cook there in the hotel. But we're gonna drive out there, and then they're gonna come back. They're gonna drive back, and then you and I are gonna spend the time, and
Monday through
then
Thursday or
Monday through
whatever.
Thursday
Yeah.
at the
Okay.
podcast movement,
Gotcha.
and then I'm gonna fly back from that. So yeah,
Which we haven't
we haven't
told
talked
anybody
about.
about.
No,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. So
sorry,
there's been a
we
lot going on. Yeah. So surprise.
kind of cracked that
Um,
secret egg.
yeah, well, I think we should too, because
Yeah,
I definitely
definitely.
want to talk about it some way, because Brock, you suggested this, you brought this to my attention, and we took it to the board. And basically what it is, it's a big trade show and a big convention, and a lot of education about how to host, how to run, how to edit, how to market, and all that, a podcast. And I think we do a great job. We really have a good style that I like. I appreciate it. We have guests on regularly enough to where it's still kind of, this is a good thing for it. The editing is always solid. The production's always good. The marketing's gotten better and better and better. And all the things that we do, and a lot of it that just you do, comes down to understanding the professionalism of being on a podcast. And for you and I starting this, again, it was like, the network needs a podcast. We just need one. We need someone that's talking to our members. And you and I love to talk. So we were the obvious choices, right? But to develop that into more of a professional aspect in any way, whether it's our mics or our equipment, whether it's our mannerisms and how we talk, again, the marketing and advertising and all that part of it, there's so much to learn about doing this as you would like a business. And
Yeah,
for you and I, this is a side gig. It's a passion project, and
that's
those are
what I
all
call it
great
all the time, is
things.
a passion project.
Yeah, I mean, we do it because we love it. But to be able to move forward from that, do we want to try to get sponsors? And if we do want to get sponsors, why, of course, because a lot of stuff that we pay for out of our own pocket, but also who and where and what, who would be good and what we get and just things like that. And the podcast movement is, and if anybody wants to look at it, you can find their website, podcastmovement.com, and
Yep.
it is fantastic. It is also, I will say, I watched several videos from several years, and they do a very good production video for their marketing. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of people there just having a blast, and I have to feel that it's just going to be a tremendous room full of extroverts, and we're all just going to be standing there just glomming on each other, like, "Yes, I want you to keep talking."
Yeah, I
It's
feel
going to
like
be great.
I feel like it's a lot of young people.
It is,
And
yes.
I feel like we're gonna walk. I almost want to walk in cargo shorts with a fake baby stroller and like baby with a fake the stroller with a fake baby in it and roll in or whatever and have like have like recording in there to be able to like talk to people something goofy like that. But yeah, I mean it does look a lot of fun. But yeah, the production video shows that they know how to get down.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, yeah, just drinking and dancing. There was a lot of that. But again, it is that well, lack of a better word, that vibe,
Right.
of who you are as a podcaster. You're an entertainer.
Yeah.
If you're going to be successful as a podcaster, you have to offer something to people that they want to listen to. And a lot of that comes down to just being able to conversationally have a party.
Yep.
Whatever
Yep.
we talk about, you get excited about it, you find the joy in it, you find the love in it, you find the passion in it, and that's what you show to your audience or what you speak to your audience. And
Hmm.
you got a lot of people in that crowd that are crazier than we are, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, and there's so many people that are podcasting now. You get people like us, just like
Mhm,
average everyday Joe. You've got the younger crowd who's just like, I want to make this like my career and make a mark on society with,
mhm,
the content I put out. And then there's celebrities, that are like, hey, I love to talk to people in my industry and you
mhm.
know whereas like we might not be able to connect with people in that industry. For them, it's as simple as like their agent reaching out to the other person's agent and saying, "Hey, when you can
Right.
come on the show?" And like,
Yeah.
no big deal, right? And it's like,
Scheduling it.
yeah, exactly. So all different aspects of podcasting and people that are going to be there, and so it's a big networking. Like, and that was the big pull for me. It was like, oh man, like this is a great way to network. Like, this I just see opportunities galore for the organization as a whole.
Mhm,
I talk to people all the time about this podcast, and I get so many amazing reactions from just whoever I talk to. They're just like, man, like such a neat idea for a show. And they listen to it later and they're just like, oh, I really enjoy that. Like, I didn't think I told you this or not, but we did the perimenopause show episode with Corey. And a couple weeks ago, I went to go stop by. It was after we bought the new car. I stopped by an old friend's house, who we used to go to church with. He lives here in the neighborhood, and he was like, "Man," he's like, "that looks like a nice car." He's like, "I was like, okay, well, next time I'm by, I'll stop over and show it to you." So I did, and he was googling over that guy, it's like, man, this is a really cool like car. And then he was like, hey, just so you know, he's like, I listened to the episode that you did with Corey. And I was like, the one on perimenopause, like, and he's like 70. And I was like, you listen to that show? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I wanted to know what it was. I have, a daughter who's around Corey's age, and
mhm.
I have a granddaughter, of course, who's younger, but uh, and also too, like he looks at us as family, and so he
Nice.
wanted to hear what was going on. But still though, like for him to jump on and listen to the show, I was just like, all right, man, like thanks.
Yeah.
I was very humbled by that and honored. I was like, oh
Yeah.
wow, dude, like okay.
Yeah, it's almost embarrassing when people start talking about how they listen to the show. For me, I'm like, yeah, that can we talk about something else? Because
Get a little red in the face.
I don't want to talk about me talking. That's, I make a
Yeah.
joke of it. I do love to talk, but I make a joke of it all the time. But I don't want to talk about me talking. I'm good. I do love it. I will admit. It's very flattering for me
Yeah.
that people say, "Oh yeah, I listen to the show," and and I feel it in my heart. I'm like, "Wow, that's very kind." Just and it's not really. It's the fact that we produce a good show.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
we can always be better. We can make changes. There's things that we both need to be more whatever about, I'm sure. But the reality of it is we have a good show that people can listen to, especially our network, especially our fellow dads and our fellow at-home parents that can sit and listen to it and like, yeah, that guy gets it. Finally, because a
Yep.
lot of what we do is so frustrating.
Yeah,
I was
that's
having the
true.
conversation with Marnie earlier, and I said, I really love that our kids are all in school and but not because they're not at home anymore, but because they're so active in so many things that they don't need me.
Mm.
And the biggest part of when your kid is young, especially younger than 3, is it's you 24/7.
Oh yeah.
And I remember during quarantine, I said I want to stop being my child's best friend and only friend. And oh my word, can we get somebody else in here to spend some time with this kid and listen to him and talk to him? And not because I wasn't interested or didn't want to hear what they were talking about. I do find great joy in my kids' stories the first 2, 3 times. but but the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, yeah, let's just stop. Okay. I need you to talk to somebody else. But that just that general frustration of what this job can bring, especially when they're very young and you're their only source of knowledge, entertainment, love, everything.
Yep.
And you you love them and you want to spend that time with them, but that frustration is so very common and we don't talk about that.
Yeah,
I
I
guess
don't want
we
my kid
talk
to be
about
a
that,
I
but
don't want my kid to be a hermit, where
right.
they're just so and also too just so attached that, you know, they have their friends at school and they see them at school, but then they don't have any contact with them outside of school, that kind of
Hmm.
deal. Which is difficult for us because we go to private school, so most of the kids don't live around us, which makes that interesting. But at the same time, too, yes, like that's the thing with us right now is just trying to get them involved in some sort of extracurricular activity that's, going to help them mesh that much more with kids their own age. And it's so funny because I feel like we've put them in a bit of a conundrum just with the fact that they haven't really like decided to kind of spread their wings and look for those and look for those things that they enjoy. They're like, "Oh, I'm good at home." Like, I don't like this is a safe place in the nest. I don't need to leave this area,
Yeah,
like that kind
yeah,
of thing. It's like, no,
yeah.
no, I'm trying to gently nudge you out of the nest.
Hmm. And that's a big part of how I see fathers parenting is you are that solid, safe foundation. This is
Yeah.
what you are. And you look out in the world and you tell your kids, look, if you climb up there, you might fall and you might get hurt. But you can do that if you want to. You
Yep.
could if
Yep.
you want to climb up that tree, okay, but I'm just telling you, these are the warnings that that you need to be aware of. You are not actually a cat. You know, it's not going to be good for you. I know you think you're a cat, but you'll figure it out. You're not a squirrel either. Okay.
Yep.
And when they do go out into the world and in whatever way, whether it's, actual physical, cut themselves or get hurt or something like that, or if it's emotional or what have you, they know they can come back and we are that nest. We are that safe, stable place where we can say, yeah, yeah, that happened and you're
Yeah.
okay and you're stronger because of it. You can do hard things and I'm here as long as you live. I will
Mhm.
be right here as this stable place that you can come back to so that they know they can go out into the world
Yeah.
and get a little uncomfortable, get a little dangerous, maybe, do some risky things, do those things in the life that really show you your limits and
Yeah.
still come back to us.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dad's here.
Well, that was yesterday. We had instructional soccer, and
Hmm.
it's so Hezekiah didn't get the opportunity to do instructional soccer because it didn't actually start until last year, and they only
Hmm.
do it K through 2. And so, whenever I do, whenever I'm like coach, he's always come with me to like help out, which the gym teacher really likes him and knows that he can take care of things and, not be goofing around and that kind of deal. So, but at the same time, like be a kid.
Yeah.
So, it was our second like practice, whatever, and I was so happy with all the kids, honestly. Like you could see them picking up what they were, what we were trying to do. I work with the second graders, so I get to work with my daughter as well, which
Nice.
really works by design because, I've been trying to kind of instill into her the idea that she can do these things. Like she can play these sports
Right.
and really go at
Yeah.
it. And really, just for her, I mean, like any kid, it comes down to just listening to instruction. And when you
Hmm.
actually execute that instruction, like, and it works, just the confidence that you see in that kid. And so we were doing this pass and shoot drill where they kick the ball to one of the coaches, and then that coach then kicks the ball off to the side. So then they have to run after it. And they typically like would be immediately like shooting the ball, but they were getting to where they were getting so far away. I was like, hey, like dribble the ball in and then shoot it. Like then you get a better shot on goal. And I was like, and you don't have anybody defending you right now. So like
Hmm.
now's the best time of any of you want to do it. And one of the first time that Ruby did it and kicked the ball like right after it had been like passed to her, of course, like the momentum like shot the ball off to the right side because just not being able to one should not have a big enough foot for the ball in a way,
Yeah.
but two, like it takes more than that. Like you can't just immediately kick off like that without having the understanding
Hmm.
of what kind of power and control you need. And so the next time when she came up, I was like, I was like, tap the ball, like give it a couple dribbles and bring it in. And so like she did that. She kind of slowed the ball down and she brought it in for a couple dribbles and then like got a nice solid like strike on the ball and scored. And just she lit up. Like, and I was just so
Yeah.
excited for it. Gave her a high five and everything. And then after the after we were kind of done, she come running up to me and she was like, "That was so much fun." And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "You did awesome." I was like, "That was you perfect. You executed that perfectly, the way it was supposed to be done." And so and there's other kids where that's the same thing. Like I've got, there's kids where they just need to know how to, kick the ball the right way off their foot and stuff like that. And so it's like this like
Hmm.
constant little bits of instruction and then seeing that immediately like flourish into a full concept. And so yeah, it was just great. But I think that yeah, dads, you know, that's they get involved in that way and you just see these kids like blast off to the moon.
Hmm. Yep. There's nothing like that support,
Yeah, definitely.
and it's the same in a lot of ways with, dad or mom, of course. Parenting is about giving that support. I do find that they do it differently, which,
Oh yeah,
is always an interesting thing. Um, Trying to define, what's a motherly thing to do and what's a fatherly thing to do, because those definitions or what would fall under those definitions has changed so much
right.
in my life. Like growing up, there's no way my dad would have done what I'm doing. There's no way. It, no. Mm-mm. And my grandfather, I'm not even sure because he wasn't alive when I became an at-home dad. I'm not sure how he would have taken it. I think, wait, you're doing the wife's job? And I'm like, yeah, Grandy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to have to update you a little bit here, buddy. But
Exactly.
beyond that, though, what it means now, what is something that only a father does? What is something that only a mother does? There's not a lot,
No.
but it does come down to how you do it a lot of times.
Yeah.
There's a joke and there's a joke and it's hilarious. It's one of the big differences is you see that the mom and the dad are sitting there and the mom goes, "Hey, stop it!" And the dad said, "What happens?" He goes, "He's about to pee on the outlet." The dad goes, "Well, hang on, he'll figure it out." And it's that and of course we would let our kids do that. You don't want pee in your house. No, but you don't want to electrocute your kid.
Right.
But the reality of having that ability to step and go, no, no, give them a minute to see what this is going to do to experience this, because that's the quickest and easiest way to learn. You can tell a kid and tell a kid and tell a kid how something is, how the experience of it is. But it's kind of like spicy foods or, anything that you run into in life that's uncomfortable. I feel like dads are the people that push you out of your comfort zone.
Hmm.
They're more likely, no, I love you and I want you to be safe. However, you need to go ice skating. You just need to. You got to go get on those skates. You got to figure it out. And yes, you're going to fall. You got to go ride your bike. Yes, you're going to fall, but you're going to learn and you'll be a better person for it. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't see moms that necessarily, I'm not going to say the moms never do that or don't do that, but overall, we've kind of always had the moms have been, well, be careful, hang on, just watch what you're doing, wait. And there are dads like that, of course. You know, I don't want to do gender stereotypes here, but dads are a little more risk takers. You know,
Yeah.
go ahead, try it, see what happens. You know, get that hammer, hit that nail. You're going to hit your thumb, and you will always remember that, and you will you will learn to not hit your thumb anymore, right? So,
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and two, like, talking about dads and sort of like the different look at, how dads interact with their kids. Um, I thought it was really on display this year for the women's NCAA tournament. And I know you're not a sports ball guy, but there's this player for Iowa. Her name is Caitlin Clark. Um, she broke a huge record this year by becoming the leading point scorer for both men's and women's college basketball.
nice.
Yeah. And so she also helped lead her team to the national championship game. They unfortunately did not win.
Hmm.
Um, but this woman is so passionate about her play and the sport and everything else. Like she's like a female version of Steph Curry for people who know who he is. Like, I mean, just can
Yeah,
shoot.
right.
Yeah. I love it. You're like, no. Uh,
Smile and nod, boys. Smile and nod.
yeah. Anyway, she can shoot the ball from anywhere on the court, and it's almost like it's
Hmm.
just guaranteed to go in most of the time. But at the same time, too, just like most people who are super passionate about things, they can get over passionate about things, and maybe their actions are just a little bit like over the top, or like one of those deals where, um, your parents are watching, and you're like, that's not how I raised you, kind of, how you react to something.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was on full display during the tournament because her dad was there at the games and they would show him from time to time. And at one point, I think it was maybe like the Big Ten tournament or something like that. So right before the actual like big, NCAA tournament, she was not happy with how some refing and some things were going. And she was yelling and just, trying to get her point across and things. And I feel like you see this in soccer too, and like,
Yeah.
football
Any
and things like
sports,
that.
really. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah, any sport. And he's he's not yelling at the referee. He's actually telling the coach to pull her out of the game because of her attitude. And I'm just like, this is
Yeah.
this is a grown woman. Like she's,
Yeah.
she's every bit of like 20. She's probably 21 years old, easily 22. And yeah, he's like, if she's gonna act like that, just pull her out of the game.
Pull her out. Doesn't
Yeah.
deserve to play.
But I love that because like, you see some parents at sporting events where their kids upset, and so like they start screaming at the referee and
Hmm.
everything, and it's like this is not a their problem, this is a you problem, like
Hmm.
you need to calm
Right.
down.
Yeah.
So but
And
yeah.
I love how very, and I can't think of another word. I was trying to think of another word, but how the sportsman-like conduct that we talk
Hmm.
about in sports, and I don't like sportsman, okay, whatever. But the reality of how we as parents should be guiding our kids in sports, and the
Yeah.
number of times you see parents in sports that are, I mean, at the elementary school
Oh
age,
yeah.
who are standing up, who are yelling at refs, yelling at coaches, and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Your kid's 6. This is magnet ball. This isn't soccer. Anywhere that ball goes, every single one of the kids is going to be surrounding it. Come on. This is just what they do. And learning that sportsmanlike conduct where you can not only expect it from all of the other people, but your kid especially.
Yeah.
I love that. And
Yeah.
I will say, I do know the name Caitlin Clark.
All
Right.
right, there
I,
you
I
go.
again, when you said NCAA, it took me a minute because I was going to make a joke. The North Carolina Athletics Association. I don't know anything about that. You know, And it took me a minute to go in national college. Okay. But I have heard her name because she has done so well.
Right.
It has come up just in, news feeds and things like that. Yeah, by the way, this is a seriously good player, and they are just knocking records. I mean, to imagine to beat not only the women's record, but also the men's,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
when physicality is generally higher in men. I mean, they're very, very strong, very fast. And any one of those people on that team, the women's team, could beat me at basketball, easy. All right, there's no. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm trying to be sexist, but the reality of it is a lot of times the men are. They're taller, they're stronger, they're faster, just biologically. To be able to beat their record too is just that's delightful. That fills me with joy, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It was wild to watch her, like, because she just made the sport that much more popular. I mean, people watched the women's national championship game 4 million times more than like people watched it than the men's championship game this year. And
Nice.
a big part of it was because they wanted to see if she could finish the whole thing up or whatever. It's still like they got to see a great game. They just unfortunately didn't get to see her win. Now,
Hmm.
take that, and then also too, the WNBA's draft was actually just like 2 days ago, and she was drafted the number one draft pick in
Hmm.
the WNBA, and so she's going to be playing for the Indiana Fever. And the other thing with that is we're getting into the equal pay of female and male
Hmm.
athletes, and
Right.
we had this conversation a few years ago with the women's soccer team, and
Hmm.
they're just how unbalanced that pay structure was to the men's team.
Hmm.
Well, uh, just to give you an idea, she's going to start out making about $78,000 for her first year as a rookie, and a
I don't know the scale for pay.
well, I'll tell you here in a
If that's
sec.
a lot or if that's
It's
you go
not a
ahead.
lot. That's not a lot.
Yeah.
My wife makes
Okay.
more than that. Which so, but a rookie for the men's team for the NBA starts out at 10 million. So, yeah, 78,000 to 10 million for the 1 year.
What?
Yeah.
It's
Yep. That's how big of a gap there is with the difference in those two leagues. So
so many things we have to fix. So
so
many
she
things we have to
so she
fix.
she is really like I don't know why it's taken so long for like the spotlight to get put on that situation itself. Granted, this is the first time I've actually ever even heard of the WNBA draft, because I'm one just not I don't watch women's basketball that often, but at the same time too, like I just don't think they've had somebody of this caliber come into the league with the attention and then, be able to point out all these other things. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what takes place because there's a lot of people who are up in arms about the fact that that's all this athlete is going to bring in when I guarantee they sold that in 2 days in just apparel sales for that
Hmm.
team. So
Yeah.
it just doesn't balance out at all. Um, but that's one of those things that like she's leading the way for a lot of our young women who are
Hmm.
looking to have professional athletic careers, and so
Yeah.
hopefully by the time our kids who are younger that maybe want to get into that, they would be actually paid a proper amount based on the full scale of it. Now I do also
Hmm.
too you get other people weighing into this all the time as well, like which I find interesting. Like people are like, well, shouldn't teachers should be making more than these athletes or whatever? And it's like, all right, like that's a whole nother like debate we're not going to get into, like
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Um,
Yeah.
because everything is different. I mean, if you're going to bring that argument up just because of her in that, like, I think you're missing the point because athletes have been getting paid millions of dollars for years, and
Hmm.
to just
Yeah.
make a stink about this one thing, that's kind
Yeah.
of
That's an ongoing argument. That's
yeah,
that's an argument that's been in place for decades. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
We do not pay teachers enough.
exactly. So that's kind of what's going on there. But I think that just watching her dad and the way that he was reacting during the her play was just quite interesting. And I hope that more parents, see like, hey, like if you're gonna be upset and do something like, you know, I would much rather see a parent trying to keep their kid in line in a
Hmm.
game than trying
Yeah.
to be a side referee or even a side coach, like yelling at your kid's coach, or yelling at the referee is
Yeah.
just it's not necessary. Like I get it. If something doesn't go right, it's frustrating, but it doesn't make you look good at all.
Hmm. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Man, the other thing I was gonna bring up because I think that we just need to keep plugging along. When I was talking with Daniel Wilkerson, I was like, "Hey man, are you coming to HomeDadCon?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm coming." He's like, "I'm really excited." And I was like, "That's great. I'm glad that you got your stuff." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I hear that it's getting a little slim pickings on hotel rooms and all
Hmm.
that kind of thing." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, it definitely is." So I was like, he's
Yep.
like, and then he goes, you guys been promoting it on the podcast? And I'm like, obviously you don't listen to the podcast because yeah, we do.
He's got a lot going
He
on.
does, he
I
does.
don't
Yeah,
blame
no,
him
no.
at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't blame the cowboy. He's he's got his own thing going on. But no, yeah, we, definitely have been pushing and letting people know what's up for Home Dad Con, and it's coming around real quick. So
Hmm.
um
Check the newsletter. It should be coming out in the next
yes.
couple of days. It should actually maybe be out before the podcast is in case. But the activities, we've got some
Yep.
extracurricular activities look good.
I'm
What we
excited
talk
about
about?
those. I'm really excited
5K.
about those. The 5K just got announced. Yeah, I saw Kyle Denny put that up,
Hmm.
so you can register for the 5K now, which is cool. And I think that I thought he said something about that there's like a t-shirt that you can purchase like
Hmm.
on that or something like that. So I haven't had a chance to look at that. I saw it go up yesterday, so it's new when this comes out. It'll been out for just about a week. So hopefully that gets
The
lots of runners. I think that it's going to be just a fun time, just like last year was. It was really a blast to just go run with a bunch of dads. Like we weren't really running. Most of us weren't running for time. We were just out there to enjoy each other's company while
right.
we're out running. But we were still trying to keep a good pace.
Hmm. Yep. And then we have the cave trip, cave kayaking.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And
That's gonna
then
be fun.
after the cave kayaking, we have a brewery hop.
There we
Uh,
go.
we've talked about Jeremy Haston. He's actually putting that together.
Yep.
He's one of the drivers. I'm going to be the other driver, and we're going to hit four specific breweries in St. Louis area, and they're going to be, from what I understand, again, I don't drink beer. That's why I'm driving. They're really nice places to go. They're really good visits for
Cool.
St. Louis. Yeah,
Yeah. So
working
that
on the photo tour, and what else do we have? We
I'm
have some other
excited for the
thing.
photo tour. That's always one of my favorite things to go do on Thursday.
Gotta find who's leading it this year. That's what we're.
Mm,
I think the only thing we're missing. So just
okay.
get somebody with a little bit of experience. And again, part of the photo tour. If you haven't been to Home Dad Con, we do a photo tour of the area every time, and it's generally all of us wannabe photographers, and then one or two actual photographers, and we just take every bit of information that they will give us, try to
Yep.
learn how to use our camera more effectively. And I have learned more on the photo tours, I think, than I learned at any other point. I mean, I haven't taken an official class, but like reading the manual and just experience, nothing compared to literally having a professional photographer literally just look at it and goes, wait, no, hang on. Take this picture here like this. And I did. And
Yeah.
it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And I'm like, I don't get it. Why can't I get that shot?
Minneapolis was like that. It was awesome.
Yes, Minneapolis
That
was
was so much
great.
that was so much fun. And I remember having it was like uh Pat Jacobs was there
Yes.
and Joe Saladino and like there were a couple other guys who had like really nice cameras and it was great to be able to like ask them questions. I remember Eric Schorberg he had just got like a DSLR
Hmm.
and I had brought my friends and so like those guys were giving us all kinds of, instructions. And then I remember at one point like Eric and I were just out walking around, just snapping shots on our own and playing with the apertures and all the different settings and stuff like that. But that
Right.
was a fun one. We did some like oh, what did we do? Like we did some very cool night photos in
Hmm.
Minneapolis,
I
and
remember those.
those are some of my favorite shots. So, yeah, that I enjoyed the Cincinnati one because it was fun. I gave the tour for that, and it was a blast to walk around. And most places where you would just drive down the street and you wouldn't even realize that if you actually looked in the parking lot of in between the two buildings, like there were murals,
The murals. Yep.
and we have over 100 murals in downtown, and so it's just like this huge art gallery basically. So I'm very curious to see what Cincinnati or what St. Louis has to offer. I'm sure that they've got quite a bit of art. I mean, when you have a city museum with all of the craziness that's in there, it's got to sort of bleed out into the
Hmm.
city and show itself. So
Yeah, that place has got to have a million photographs of it. Just very interesting. Very
yeah.
interesting. So,
I had somebody ask me, they were like, "Oh, so you're oh no, it was Daniel." He was like, "Oh, so you're gonna go check out the HomeDadCon space when you drive out there." I'm like,
hmm.
"I'm not gonna have time to do that. The most I'm gonna probably get to do is see the arch as I drive by."
Right. Just
So
right. Oh, look, that's very cool. That's amazing.
yeah,
Someday I'll stop and
I,
take a picture of
I'll be back to see you in October.
it. Right. Right.
Up closer. So but yeah, man. So it's gonna be exciting, and like I said, I'm gonna have lots to post about the trip out west, that
Hmm.
and all of the excitement with that. But that's pretty much all I got for this episode. It was good getting to talk and
Hmm.
catch up like always. So, but I'm looking forward to seeing everybody at Home DadCon. So
Yeah.
hope they can make it there.
Good luck on your trip. I hope it goes very well for you.
Thanks, man. Definitely. I'll be texting you back and forth, so
Hmm.
and everybody else can follow
Try to
along
keep
on
you awake.
Instagram. Yeah, exactly.
Good
That for sure. So, all right. Well, hey, everybody, thanks for listening, and we will talk to you all next week.
night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.